Hello, my name is Michelle Merriweather, and thank you for joining. Today, I want to talk about something that's at the heart of the direct democracy in Arizona, the initiative and the referendum process. These two tools give everyday citizens the power to create and change laws, which is pretty powerful, right, when you think about it. Let's start with some basic definitions. An initiative is a process that allows citizens to process new laws or constitutional amendments and put them directly on the ballot. If enough voters agree, that proposal becomes a law without going through the state legislature. A referendum, on the other hand, is a process that gives citizens the power to approve or reject laws that have already been passed. The legislator, so if lawmakers pass something controversial, voters can collect signatures to put that law on hold and let the public decide. Now let's talk about how these processes actually work in Arizona. For an initiative, here's what has to happen. A group of citizens or an organization comes up with a proposal, law, or amendment. They must write the law in proper legal language and collect a certain number of signatures from the registered voters in the state. The number required signatures depends on whether the initiative is sanctuary law or constitutional amendment. For example, a constitutional amendment requires signatures equal to 15% of the voters cast in last governor's election, which a sanctuary law requires 10%. If enough valid signatures are collected and verified by the Secretary of State, the measures go on to the next general election ballot, and voters get to decide. A referendum works in a similar way, but it starts out after the legislator passes a law that some citizens disagree with. The people have a short window, usually 90 days after the legislative sessions end, to gather the necessary signatures to put that law on hold and take it to the public vote. If voters reject it, the law doesn't go into effect. Now let's compare and contrast the two. One, both give powers to the people and involve collecting signatures to give something on the ballot. Secondly, but the initiative starts with the people and allow people to create laws, while the referendum responds to the legislators' actions, letting citizens challenge or reject laws that have already passed. In other words, initiative are proactive and referendums are reactive. There are pros and cons to both of these tools. Some pros: they empower citizens to directly involve lawmaking. They serve as check-in on the legislature, especially when people feel their voices are being heard. They also increase political engagement and public awareness because people learn more about issues when they are involved in the process. Some cons to both. The process can be expensive and time-consuming, especially when it comes to gathering enough signatures. Sometimes special interest groups are initiated to push their agendas with flashy campaigns, lots of money, which can draw on the voices of everyday citizens. Also, complicated laws are sometimes oversimplified on the ballot, which makes it hard for voters to fully understand what they are voting for. Finally, how do these tools fit in the bigger picture of direct democracy in Arizona? The Arizona Constitution actually supports direct democracy by giving citizens these powers. While usually we think of the United States as a representative democracy, where we elect people to make laws for us, Arizona allows people to step in, make or reject laws themselves when necessary. This is especially important when citizens feel that elected officials are out of touch or not acting in the public's best interest. In that way, initiatives and referendums keep our democracy accountable and responsible. That reminds us that the government works for the people and not the other way around. In conclusion, the initiative and referendum process in Arizona gives power directly to the people. It allows citizens to create laws, challenge laws, and take an active role in shaping their government. While there are challenges to this process, it remains one of the most important tools we have to make everyday voice counts. Thanks so much for listening. I hope this explained the power of the direct democracy in Arizona.